Hey everybody, thanks for being here and checking out this brief cybersecurity training video. My name is Mike Harrington from i.t.NOW, and I spend my days consulting with business owners on solutions for IT support, cybersecurity, and AI business process automation. Today, we wanted to take a few minutes to highlight two of the most common cyber attacks in 2025, along with the most common attack vector the bad guys are using. We also have some tips for what you can do to keep your business safe. So let's dive in. It will be no surprise to many of you that ransomware is still close to the top of the list for cyber attacks in 2025. However, business email compromise has taken the crown as the most common attack happening currently. They can both be devastating to your business. So let's learn how to get you protected. Let's talk through each, along with what you can do to prevent them. First, let's start with ransomware. Ransomware is a type of malicious software that once it infects a computer or network, encrypts the victim's files, rendering them unusable. The attackers then demand a ransom, typically in cryptocurrency, in exchange for providing a decryption key to restore access to the data. Some ransomware also involves data exfiltration, where attackers steal sensitive information and threaten to leak it if the ransom isn't paid. So, what can we do to stay protected? There are a lot of things that are foundational to cybersecurity that every business should have in place. We'll talk about these first, and then some specific cybersecurity controls that can help to protect against ransomware. We find that a layered cybersecurity strategy is almost always the most effective solution. So let's talk about some of these various cybersecurity layers with foundational security hygiene. These will help for both ransomware and BEC. Endpoint detection and response. If you implement EDR solutions on all endpoints, desktop, laptop, servers, EDR provides continuous monitoring, threat detection, and automated response capabilities, helping to identify and isolate ransomware infections early and detect suspicious activities indicative of BEC. Next generation antivirus helps too. While traditional antivirus is no longer sufficient on its own, NGAV solutions incorporate advanced techniques like behavioral analysis and machine learning to detect known and novel malware, including ransomware. Firewall and intrusion prevention systems is another great solution. Maintain a robust firewall at the perimeter of your network to control inbound and outbound traffic. IPS helps to identify and block malicious network activity associated with both ransomware deployment and BEC attempts. Regular patch management is another essential security feature. Establish a rigorous process for promptly patching operating systems, applications, and firmware. Vulnerabilities and outdated software are common entry points for both ransomware and BEC attackers. Make sure that your business has strong password policies and multi-factor authentication. Enforce strong, unique passwords for all accounts and mandate MFA wherever possible, especially for email, VPN access, and critical business applications. MFA significantly reduces the risk of account compromise. Use the principle of least privilege. Grant users only the necessary permissions to perform their job functions. This limits the potential damage if an account is compromised by ransomware or a BEC attacker. Another thing you can do is segment your network. Divide your network into isolated segments to limit the lateral movement of ransomware and prevent attackers from easily accessing sensitive data after an initial compromise. Let's talk about some specific controls to combat ransomware. Make sure that you have a robust backup and recovery strategy. Implement a comprehensive backup solution with regular automated backups that are stored offline and offsite. Ensure you have a tested recovery plan to restore critical data quickly in the event of a ransomware attack without paying the ransom. Follow the 3-2-1 rule. 3 copies of your data on at least 2 different media with at least 1 copy offsite. Email filtering and attachment scanning are another great security feature. Employ advanced email security solutions that can scan emails for malicious attachments and links, a common delivery method for ransomware. You can also use web filtering to block access to known malicious websites, prevent users from inadvertently downloading ransomware. Another great tool is called Privileged Access Management, or PAM. Restrict the execution and installation of applications to only those that are known and trusted. This can prevent the execution of unauthorized ransomware. Also, let's talk about user awareness training. It's important to educate employees on how ransomware is spread, the importance of not clicking suspicious links or opening unknown attachments, and the steps to take if they suspect an infection. conduct simulated phishing exercises that include ransomware scenarios. Now, a little bit about business email compromise. A business email compromise attack is a sophisticated social engineering scam where cyber criminals impersonate a trusted individual, such as a company executive, vendor, or business partner via email. The goal is to manipulate employees into taking actions that benefit the attacker, such as wire transferring funds to fraudulent accounts, providing sensitive information like financial details or employee data, purchasing gift cards and sending the codes to the attacker. BEC attacks often involve thorough research on the target organization and individuals to craft highly convincing and personalized emails, making them difficult to detect. They typically do not involve malware, but rely on deception and exploiting human trust. Here are a few things you can do in addition to our foundational cybersecurity tips that will help lower the risk of a BEC attack in your organization. Let's start with email authentication protocols, SPF, DKIM, DMARC. Implement these email authentication protocols to verify the legitimacy of an email senders and prevent attackers from spoofing your domain. You can also use verification procedures for financial transactions. Implement strict verification processes for all financial transactions, especially wire transfers. This should include multi-person approval and out-of-band verification. You need to call and confirm the details via phone with a known and trusted number. User awareness training specifically can help to protect against BEC. Educate employees on the tactics used in BEC attacks, such as urgency, request for secrecy, and unusual payment requests. Emphasize the importance of verifying requests through multiple channels. Manage detection and response for email is another great tool. MDR is a super effective way to lower your risk when it comes to a BEC attack. Here's what it does. MDR constantly watches user activities, login events, and mail flow. It also has a 24/7 security operations center where a team of security experts analyze alerts, validate threats, and provide actionable insights and remediation steps. So, those are the top 2 threats that we see hitting businesses and some steps you can take to make sure that your business stays safe. One thing that they have in common is that both of these attacks frequently have phishing as their initial attack vector. So, a few words on how to spot phishing. As a cybersecurity expert, I can tell you that these malicious attempts are constantly evolving, but there are some fundamental red flags to watch out for. Think of it like becoming a digital detective. We'll cover some various aspects, from obvious clues to more subtle indicators. The golden rule of phishing is always be suspicious. Before we get into specifics, the most crucial mindset is to always be suspicious of unexpected emails, especially those requesting personal information, login credentials, financial details, or demanding urgent action. Even if an email looks legitimate, take a moment to scrutinize it and examine the sender information. This is often the first and most revealing place to look, the from address. It doesn't match what you would expect. Look closely at the domain name. Does it exactly match the organization it claims to be from? For example, an email claiming to be from PayPal, but coming from https://google.com/search equals paypal.securityalert.com is a huge red flag. Pay attention to misspellings, extra characters, or different domain extensions. Free email addresses can be another indicator of phishing. Legitimate organizations rarely send official communications from generic email addresses like Gmail, Yahoo, or Hotmail. An email from your bank using a Gmail address should be immediately suspicious. Also look for spoofed display names. Attackers can make the display name appear legitimate, PayPal support, but the actual email address underneath is fraudulent. Hover your mouse over the display name without clicking to reveal the true email address. On mobile, you might need to tap and hold. Also check for inconsistent reply to addresses. Sometimes the from address might look plausible, but the reply to address is different and suspicious. This indicates that the sender doesn't want you to reply directly to the apparent sender. It's also important to analyze the email content. The body of the email often contains telltale signs of a phishing attempt. You should look for things like generic greetings. Legitimate organizations usually address you by your name. Generic greetings like Dear Customer, Valued User, or Sir or Madam can be indicators of a mass phishing campaign. You should also look for things like a sense of urgency or threat. Phishing emails often try to create a sense of urgency or fear to pressure you into acting quickly without thinking. Examples include, your account has been suspended due to suspicious activity. Act now. Immediate action required to prevent your order from being canceled. We have detected unauthorized access to your account. Secure it. Legal action will be taken if you do not respond within 24 hours. Another thing to look for is grammar and spelling errors. While sophisticated phishing attacks are generally getting better, many still contain noticeable grammatical errors, typos, and awkward phrasing. Legitimate companies have professional communication standards. You should also be aware of suspicious attachments. Be extremely cautious of attachments, especially if the email is unexpected or contains file types like .exe, .zip, .scr, .js, or .m. Word enabled with macros. These can often contain malware. If you weren't expecting an attachment, even from a seemingly known sender, verify its legitimacy through another communication channel. Requests for personal information are another thing to look for. Legitimate organizations will almost never ask for sensitive personal information like passwords, social security numbers, credit card details, or bank account numbers via email. Be highly suspicious of any email requesting such information. Look for inconsistencies in formatting and branding. Look inconsistencies in logos, colors, fonts, overall branding compared to the legitimate organization's official communications. Poorly rendered logos or outdated designs can be red flags. Also, watch out for unexpected requests. Be wary of emails asking you to do something that you wouldn't normally do, such as transferring money, purchasing gift cards, or providing access to your computer. Take a close look at all links and calls to action. Within phishing emails are designed to redirect you to malicious websites that either steal your credentials or install malware. This is crucial. Hover before clicking on any link. Hover your mouse over it so you can see the actual URL. On mobile, you might need to tap and hold. Does the URL match the organization that it claims to be from? Look for misspellings, extra characters, different domain extensions, or the use of IP addresses instead of domain names. For example, a link in an email, supposedly from Amazon, that points to amazon/login.ru is clearly malicious. Beware of URL shorteners like bit.ly or tinyurl. While sometimes legitimate, they can obscure true destinations. If you're unsure, try using an online URL expander tool to see where the actual link goes before clicking. Also look for misleading link text. The text of the link might say, click here to log into your secure account, but the underlying URL points to a completely different and suspicious website. Always check the actual URL. Look for urgent or aggressive call to actions. Phrases like, your account will be closed immediately if you don't click here now, are common tactics to scare you into clicking without thinking. Also, use context and common sense. Sometimes your own judgment and understanding of typical communications practices can be the best defense. Did you initiate the communication? If you didn't, request information or initiate contact with the organization. Be extra cautious about unsolicited emails. Is the email out of the blue? Be suspicious of unexpected emails, even if they appear to be from someone you know. Their account might have been compromised. Consider the channel. Would the legitimate organization typically contact you this way for this specific request? For example, banks rarely ask for sensitive information via email. Trust your gut. If something feels off about an email, it probably is. Don't ignore your intuition. Here's what to do if you suspect a phishing email. Don't click on any links or open any attachments. Don't reply to the email. Mark the email as spam or junk. This helps your email provider improve its filtering. Report the suspicious email to the organization it's impersonating. Many legitimate organizations have dedicated email addresses for reporting phishing attempts. If you accidentally clicked on a link or entered information, immediately change your passwords on the affected accounts and monitor your financial accounts for any suspicious activity. You may also need to contact the organization directly to inform them of the potential compromise. Training and awareness are key. Phishing attacks are a constant threat, and staying informed is your best defense. Regularly review security awareness training materials and stay updated on the latest phishing tactics. By diligently applying these techniques and maintaining a healthy dose of skepticism, you can significantly reduce your risk of falling victim to phishing attacks. Remember that when in doubt, always err on the side of caution and verify the legitimacy of the communication through an alternative and trusted channel. You've got this. Become a savvy digital detective. Stay safe out there, and remember that you can always reach out to the team here at i.t.NOW whenever you have questions or need our help. Thanks so much.